Hi, if you're on the market to find a new gaming laptop, you've probably heard about the 2019 Acer Predator Helios 300. It's one of the best laptops that you can buy right now for just over $1,000, but recently I had an opportunity to test the 2019 HP Pavilion 15 Gaming, which to my surprise turned out to be absurdly good but really strange laptop. Do you wonder which one is better choice? In this video you will find the answer, so make sure to watch it to the end and find out about all the pros and cons of both laptops. If you don't know my channel yet and you like this kind of comparisons, consider subscribing Tech Finds and hit notification bell if you don't wanna miss the upcoming videos. As always, in the video description I left Amazon links for the USA and also for other countries to check the current price. To skip to any part of this video you can use the timestamps down below. I'm Chris from TechFindsReview.com and now let's jump into the comparison. If it comes to design, the HP Pavilion is a pretty clean looking device for a gaming laptop. The lid is made of black plastic with only shiny green HP logo in the middle. The deck is also plastic and I like that there are no colorful fancy accents. The laptop doesn't catch the fingerprints so easily as Predator, so it is easier to keep it clean. Above the keyboard you can find up-firing speakers covered by a great looking perforated area. The back looks nice as well, but the hinge on the center makes the screen a little bit more flexy. The Predator is the winner if it comes to build quality. It feels more premium and solid as the lid and deck are made of metal. On the other hand, it looks more fancy. On the lid you can find blue accents and the Predator logo that lights up blue. Inside there is blue accenting on the touchpad and on some of the keys. The back of 2019 Predator looks awesome. I love the triangular exhausts with blue heatsinks inside. Despite the matte texture of the deck, the fingerprints show very easily, but they are easy to wipe away. Both laptops come with thin bezel display and in both you can find a 720p webcam located properly on the top bezel. If it comes to dimensions, the Predator is slightly smaller, but the HP Pavilion is about 150 grams lighter thanks to plastic build. I had no problems carrying any of these laptops and both can fit in regular bag with ease. The keyboard in Pavilion is pretty good, but the layout and function key size take a bit longer time to get used to. It has 1.5mm key travel and is comfortable to type on. However, it has no dedicated button for control center up or boosting the fans, and what I find absolutely terrible idea is the arrow key layout. It's far from comfortable to play games on such small keys. The keyboard in Predator has 1.7mm key travel, good spacing and comfortably big arrow keys. You have also one dedicated key to open the control center up and one turbo button which improves the performance and sets the fans to max, more on that later. The keys with white strokes look great, but the lighting is not as strong and vivid as in HP. You have 4 zones of lighting and a few simple effects, so you can customize the keyboard a bit, but please note that the most popular $1,100 model with the GTX 1660 Ti comes with only blue keyboard lighting in the USA. The models with higher specs and some of 1660 Ti models come with RGB, so make sure that you buy the right one. Pavilion is available with solid green, solid white and solid violet keyboard lighting, and the keystrokes have the same color as lighting, but certain colors might not be available in every country. I've got the green one and I like it. The lighting is stronger and more vivid than in Predator. If it comes to touchpad, we've got few differences. The main thing is that Pavilion has Elan trackpad while Predator uses Windows Precision drivers, so it has better gestures and tracking. Nonetheless, I had no complaints to Pavilion's touchpad. Despite the plastic surface, it was nice and smooth, and the tracking was very good and I actually like the clean look of it much more. Predator has also smooth plastic surface but different shape. It's higher but narrower. In terms of port selection, my choice is the HP Pavilion, because it has SD card slot that I often use. The Predator is missing it, but on the other hand it has mini DisplayPort and security lock, which HP is missing. The rest of I/O is the same for both laptops, and if you ask, none of them support Thunderbolt 3. If it comes to display, unfortunately I had 2 laptops with different panels. The Predator had 144Hz display and the Pavilion was 60Hz, but if you want you can buy Pavilion with optional 1080p 144Hz screen or 4K 60Hz as well. However, since this is the budget brand from HP, they mostly sell you with 60Hz panels. If you're planning to buy it on Amazon, be careful because some models are listed as 144Hz while they are actually 60Hz according to people's reports. So before you buy, contact the seller and ensure that you will get the right model. I found my 60Hz 1080p IPS HP Pavilion very good for gaming, but I can also recommend it for content creation. The 60Hz panels usually have very poor color reproduction, but in this case it's different. You have 100% of sRGB color gamut, 78% of Adobe RGB, and the brightness is 295 nits. Of course no G-Sync here, and I actually found the screen tearing to be more noticeable here than in other 60Hz laptops. By the way, I'm not sure if every 60Hz model has such good color reproduction, since I've seen couple of reviewers showing much lower numbers. My Predator has 1080p, 144Hz, 3 ms response time IPS panel without G-Sync. It's much smoother than 60Hz, but I'm pretty sure that there is no really big difference between Pavilion's optional 144Hz panel and the Predator that I've got here. The colors are very vivid and sharp, and the display has perfectly balanced cold tone. It can reproduce 97% of sRGB color gamut, 75% of Adobe RGB, and the brightness is 315 nits. I think that the games look perfect and any kind of color correct work can be done on this laptop without problem. However, there was one thing that was not perfect. I found screen bleeding, which was also slightly noticeable during normal use when the content on the screen was black. This may vary between laptops because of diversity in the production process, however this is only a cosmetic issue which you might not even notice. On the other hand, HP has almost no backlight bleeding, which is very good sign. Alright, so now you probably wonder how is the price. Speaking of it, I prepared a list with available configurations and approximated prices of both laptops as for today, but please note that the prices may vary with time. So in the video description I left the Amazon links for the USA and other countries to check the current price. Let's talk about the Predator first. You can get it with the GTX 1660 Ti, RTX 2060 or RTX 2070 Max-Q. If it comes to processor, it's available with 6-core i7-9750H or 4-core i5-9300H. As a default, the 2019 Predator comes with 144Hz display, but I've heard about 60Hz models too, depending on the country. The most popular GTX 1660 Ti model is well known for the best price to performance ratio out there, but if that's not enough, it was few times on sale for $999 on Amazon. If you're planning to buy one, stay tuned and don't forget to check the current price, especially in the Black Friday. The 2019 HP Pavilion has wider range of configurations if it comes to budget segment. The GTX 1660 Ti Max-Q is actually the strongest option here. For the processor you can choose between i7-9750H and i5-9300H. Since this is a budget laptop, it's worth mentioning that the GTX 1650 model has pretty good price that may suit some of you. But the GTX 1660 Ti is usually the point where you don't pay much more money and the performance increases drastically, especially that it's usually paired with i7 like in this case. Please note that the models of Pavilion that I am talking about come with less than 16GB of RAM, and both Predator and Pavilion usually come with only one M.2 SSD, so we will probably wanna add some hard drive for more storage. Now these are not very cheap devices and I believe that some of you might worry about breaking something during upgrade. So I made the step-by-step detailed guides where I'm showing you how to disassemble and upgrade both of them. In my upgrade videos you can also find compatible RAM and storage drives, so if you're planning to add more RAM, swap out your hard drive for SSD, you can check it out. Links to the videos will be in the description. The performance comparison is probably what you're most interested in. I've got both laptops with the same specs except the fact that the GTX 1660 Ti in HP is Max-Q. As I said at the beginning, the HP Pavilion is a very strange laptop. The i7-9750H is limited to 30 watts here, but sometimes for no reason the power limit doesn't kick in and the processor runs on 45 watts. I tried different ways to get rid of the limit, but it seems to be factory setting that you can't change, so I tested it on 30 watts. You might think that with Max-Q GPU and limited CPU power the performance will be much worse, but to my surprise Pavilion was not very far behind. Here is a quick preview of the game performance, but if you want to see more games tested, check out my gaming benchmark videos where I tested 20 games on each laptop. Links to the videos will be in the description. What is important is that every time I test the performance I set the maximum possible laptop settings to see its full potential. If it comes to Pavilion there is no any control center app to set the fan speed or overclock the GPU. In Predator you can click the turbo button which instantly overclocks the GPU, increases the CPU power limit and sets the fans to max. You can also tweak this all separately in the Predator Sense app. Now let's talk about cooling, because here's where the biggest differences begin. The Helios 300 performs better, but with max fan speed it's about 1/3 louder than HP, and increased CPU power limit with overclocked GPU generate a lot of heat, which brings us to the thermals. Despite running on highest possible clock speed, the Predator deals with the temperature very good. It has efficient cooling system that allows to keep the average CPU temperature of 83 degrees Celsius and the GPU temperature of only 71 degrees. However, the HP Pavilion, thanks to lower power limit and max-Q graphics, doesn't usually exceed 80 degrees Celsius. The average CPU temperature was only 79 degrees, and the GPU average was 68 degrees. It doesn't usually happen to see such low temperatures in a gaming laptop nowadays, but in this case we know the trade-off already. Nonetheless, it's not a very big performance loss here. If it comes to sound, I find both laptops equal. They have noticeably more bass than many other devices, and I was surprised how clear was the sound. In both cases, on stock settings it had a lot of detail and depth without really big distortion on highest volumes. To equalize the sound in Predator we have Waves Max audio software. Pavilion uses Bang & Olufsen audio control. By the way, this time I also tested speed of M.2 SSDs in both laptops, and the Predator had 2 times faster read and over 3 times faster write speed. As for the battery, I managed to use the Predator for up to 6 hours when browsing the web and doing light productivity work. When gaming, battery died after 1.5 hours. The HP was a little bit behind. It ran for up to 5 hours when light work and 1 hour when gaming. Alright, it seems to be everything that you need to know to wisely choose one of these laptops, but before we finish, let me share my closing thoughts. So if it comes to the 2019 Acer Predator Helios 300, I think that the biggest advantage of it is the price. For just over $1,000 you're getting the specs and features that you can find in $400 more expensive laptops. It has premium metal build, smooth 144Hz 3ms response time display with good color accuracy and great cooling system. Compared to HP Pavilion, it performs better, it allows you to control the fan speed and overclock the GPU in the software, the keyboard is better and more practical, it is easier to upgrade and you can buy it with up to RTX 2070 Max-Q. Worth mentioning is that it often goes on sale, which makes it even better deal. The only issue was the screen bleeding, but it varied between laptops and I believe that it's not so visible in most cases during normal use. It's also louder and it has higher surface temperatures than HP. On the other hand, we have the 2019 HP Pavilion 15 Gaming, which thanks to power efficient GPU and limiting the CPU power is probably the quietest gaming laptop on the market. It runs much cooler than vast majority of gaming laptops and the trade-off, which is the performance, is not really big. I think that Pavilion looks cleaner than Predator, it's a little bit lighter and the plastic build doesn't feel cheap at all. Considering that this is a budget brand from HP, I have to admit that they didn't cheap out on the features. The 60Hz version has very good color reproduction and brightness. It was actually as same good as Predator's 144Hz display if it comes to colors. The up-firing speakers are above average as well. Pavilion costs slightly less than Predator and it has even cheaper GTX 1650 configurations. However, it usually comes with only 8GB of RAM. For the weak sides of this laptop we can include the screen tearing on 60Hz display, lack of control center up and difficult upgrading process. If I had to choose, I'd rather go for the 2019 Helios 300, but I'm curious, what is your choice? I hope that this video helped you decide, so if you know which laptop you're gonna buy now, let us know in the comments. If you're new to the channel, it would be awesome if you consider subscribing Tech Finds. On my channel you can find detailed laptop reviews, laptop comparisons, gaming benchmarks and more. Now thanks for your time and see you in the next video.